I'm gonna go back to Max My Sync and some of those webinars that you host. Are those are programs to where really I don't think you have to be in a Flip the Pharmacy cohort to even watch, or do you? Or do you? You tell me about that.
Okay, and that's one of the things that we try to keep getting out there is that you don't have to be in CPESN or Flip the Pharmacy cohorts to utilize the Flip the Pharmacy resources. It's sponsored and funded by CPF, Community Pharmacy Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I know if Marsha ever listens to this, she's going to want me to tell you what my acronyms stand for. But
she's taught
yeah,
everyone.
so it's all open access. It's free resources for pharmacies to leverage today and use. So one of my passions is in obviously elevating your technicians and staff development. So use those. Your staff can join, whether you're joining live or looking at the website. Like, they're all recorded. There's so many change packages and resources that were created long before me that I used before I actually joined. So there's just a backlog of information that is so good.
Yeah. And I would recommend that you do that as a march. Don't be like, hey, sometime I'm going to go out there and look at the resources. I saw an interesting fact that said, if you spend 18 minutes a day on something for a year, you'll be better than it than like 90% of the country, right?
Oh, wow.
Just 18 minutes a day. So, and maybe you could do that like 40 minutes one day and something like that. But I think those resources as free in where pharmacy's heading, carve out some time. Don't like, hey, when I get around to it, say, hey, between this time and this time, every day or these 4 days, I'm going to work on these resources, right? And I'm gonna think about it and plan.
What's good about their content? It's in chunks like that. It's not in like, hey, here's this 4-hour class you have to like try to sit there and make time for and sit down with. It's like 30-minute chunks a lot of the times where it's like, hey, come in and get this. And I think you guys host it sometimes like once a week or every other week or something like that.
Max by Sync is every Wednesday or the first 4 Wednesdays. So if we end up with a 5th one, we're taking the week off. But they're all just different best practices and tangible information that you can take back right now. And we're on the bench. We've done it. We're have really good MedSync programs that are benefiting our pharmacy. And like what Jeff said, we just want to keep giving back and showing other pharmacies how to do it. And
your pharmacy is, tell everybody.
Galloway Sands Pharmacy. So we're in southeastern North Carolina.
Love North Carolina. And what percentage of your patients are on Sync?
Yeah, let's add some credibility here.
Okay, so we've got 2 locations.
Okay.
And separately, one is at 70% and one just broke the 60%, which we're super proud of.
Yeah, so everybody listening, it can happen. You can do it.
Yeah.
Now, for you guys, what was the transition point where it went from being in the way, and we'll use the RedSail stuff, when it went from being an anchor to a sail, right? When it went from dragging you down to actually propelling you forward?
Sure. So I'm in this really neat position that I got to do it twice, right? So we had 2 locations. And so I've been with Galloway Sands for 11 years. And when we started MedSync, it was in my primary location at the time. And it was just something I'd heard about. I actually thought we were behind, that everybody else was doing it, but we weren't. That's what I kept hearing. And so when we started that, I would say you start to see some efficiencies and a flip at that 30% mark.
Yep.
But I would argue that that's not it, because you're starting to see it then, and that's when your staff is starting to see it. But at 50% is where you're gonna
life-changing. Yeah. So all you guys who like, I tried it, and you put 8 patients on it, start over. You didn't do it, right? You said, I'm gonna diet, and you skipped dessert one meal. I
feel attacked.
Right. Sorry. You didn't try it. You didn't do it. You started a workout program and you lifted one weight, right? You have to get 30, you're here now 50% before it really makes a difference.
And what I love too, or not love, I guess it's an irony, I guess. I don't love it. When you talk to people at trade shows and different pharmacies, you say, okay, well, who here tracks their MedSync percentage? And people are like, oh yeah, I have a MedSync program. And they say, well, what's your percentage? They say, well, I have 600 patients on it. I say, well, what's that? What's your fill what your prescription volume that you fill every day. What is that percentage? And they don't know. And so if you have 600 patients, that's great if you have a really small pharmacy. But if you're a larger pharmacy with 3 and 4 locations, that may be 10%, if that. And so you're really not seeing that efficiency.